You better watch out.
You better not cry.
You better not call on yours, Jedi.
The Empire is coming to town. We have a Death Star.
We've tested it twice.
Tracking down rebels and ending their lives. The Empire is coming to town.
I have a very bad feeling about this.
We see you when you're training. We know you use the Force. We know about your sister now. And we think it's kind of gross.
You better watch out. You better not cry. You better not call on yours, Jedi.
The Empire is coming to town.
All right, we wish you a very Merry Christmas from us at Star Wars Escape Pod. And because this episode was recorded before the Christmas week, we had to just tack this message on for you because, just acknowledging, of course, it is that time of year. So before it gets too late, we did want to say, go and check out BucketHeads Part 3. It releases on December 24th this week. So go check that out. Links will be in the description below. It's the final part to the BucketHeads fan film series. We had those guys from Twin Sun Film Foundation on for a podcast chat last year. I'll leave a description for that as well. And we were talking about parts 1 and 2, some of the best Star Wars fan films that you have ever seen. And I'm going to leave a link to the playlist as well down in the description below. Go check out the Lego Star Wars Holiday Special with your family on Disney+. That's a great thing to do around this time of year as well. And last but not least, we will have a holiday special themed-ish party episode coming out next week with the release of Skeleton Crew Aftershow Part 5 for episode 5 of Skeleton Crew, because we've been doing that every week for the last few weeks while that show's been coming out. We hope you have been enjoying that Aftershow, and we hope you enjoy this one for Skeleton Crew Part 4. So, without further ado, let's get into it.
Time to abandon ship.
Here we go.
Can I persuade you to join us for a drink? It's a tradition. Here, here.
Jar Jar, homie, my main man, quickly. Before the Separatists attack, get into the escape pod.
Right! This is escape, then we're the pod.
Welcome back to Star Wars Escape Pod and another after show for Star Wars Skeleton Crew. This is for episode 4. Can't say I remember no Atten. We're going to be diving into this episode with our friends in the Escape Pod. We've got Kirk, Dan, and Matt with us this week. So we're just going to get to the bottom of this and, read through it and give our opinions and our Pablo points and poodoos and so on and so forth. And it's going to be a good time. So let's get into it.
Another happy landing.
All right, welcome back. We got Kirk. Hello, sir.
Hello there.
Just rushed home with the traffic. Were you listening to this on the way home?
Right here.
Give yourself the speed boost?
I was listening to some Skeleton Crew scores, but this was not one of them. But it's a good time.
Nice.
Getting home faster.
Awesome. And welcome back, Dan.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Hello there. And we also have Matt. Welcome back, Matt.
Hello, hello. You can call me Matt Matten.
What an intro. Matt. Awesome.
I don't remember no Matt Madden.
Can't say I remember no Matt Madden. All right, we got episode 4 this week. This episode is directed by Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinhardt. 2 Dans. Look at that. We got a lot of Dans this week. Written by Chris Ford and John Watts. This episode premiered on Disney Plus December 17th, 2024. So, as usual, I'm just going to dive right into this and read through the episode that we just watched, and we can, talk about it after. So, here we go. The crew, following Kim's coordinates, arrives at what they initially believe is at Aden. However, the planet is war-ravaged and a reflection of their destination, but they soon discover they've landed on At Akron, one of At Aten's sister planets. While Jod remains aboard the ship with the deactivated SM-33, the young crew disembarks. They quickly encounter soldiers who identify themselves as Troiks. Locked in a bitter conflict with the Hattons, who they claim to have stolen their precious EOPs. Neo, in particular, forms a bond with the young female soldier named Hena, whose father, General Strix, mandates that their children be treated as adults and equals. However, Neo struggles to reconcile the Troik's violent way of life and his own pacifistic leanings, advocating for a more compassionate approach. Despite their reservations, the young crew is tasked with helping the Troiks retrieve their EOPs. Jod and SM-33, however, circumvent this by discreetly purchasing the EOPs back from the Hattons as an apparent reward for the success. The Troiks direct them to the Fallen Sanctum, which is an eerily familiar structure nearing the Supervisor's Terror back at Aden. Inside, the crew discovers a repository of coordinates leading to other planets similar to their own. But the coordinates for At Aden are conspicuously absent, scratched out beyond recognition. A chilling revelation follows. SM-33 admits to destroying the coordinates, but claims his memory of the event was subsequently erased. Fern, desperate for answers, commands SM-33 to remember. Under duress, the droid reveals the truth. At Aden is where the former captain stashed his vast treasure. The situation takes a sudden, terrifying turn. SM-33, under the hidden directive from the previous captain, turns on the group in a violent attack. Jod manages to shut down the rampaging droid, but the ordeal leaves Neil overwhelmed, collapsing into unconsciousness after bravely helping to protect his friends. So there we go. That is episode 4. I mean, off the bat, maybe we'll start with you, Matt. Like, how did you like this one going into it?
Oh, hello. I actually like, I like this one. I like this one a lot, actually. I like the character performances and the kind of the reveal, even though I know it did feel kind of like we didn't really go anywhere really more further in the story, but I enjoyed it. I liked it. And I like the SM-33 and his whole At-At and stuff. Yeah. And that was pretty cool. All the different planets, do you think this is kind of headed towards, I mean, is this like what is it called? The High Republic books? Is it connecting into those? I know those happened 100 years before episode 1.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are those planets in that series? Question mark?
That's the thing, is like, they're not. Like, so far, all of these planets, including the Jewels of the Republic, like, this is all like new stuff. So they've really kept this, well, I mean, this is really a new thing for this show. I would imagine in Star Wars stories going forward, like, they probably will connect the dots, a little more. But yeah, as it is, I mean, yeah, a lot of these planets are so far just kind of unknown to everybody. But I think that's intentional. It kind of goes with the story of the mystery, right? And all I can think about is Treasure Island, Treasure Planet, constantly. Like, this is like, people want to find At Aten because that's where this pirate captain stashed his treasure, and it happens to be the first mate of that captain that that's with the characters. And I don't know, it's just like, it's all very reminiscent of Treasure Island in terms of like the story beats, and with Billy Bones showing up to Jim Hawkins, and that's kind of the key to the map, which leads him to try and find the treasure. And it was this captain that stored his treasure on a place that no one can find, and it's sort of the same, right? So I think it's kind of intended to be shrouded in the unknown right now. But I got a question for you though. Like, how do you feel about there being more planets that look like Aten? And there could be like, I guess we're talking like 9 of them, right? Like how do you feel about that?
I think it's really fascinating. I have a feeling these like 6 planets or however many planets are there could be like some like weird test site done by the Empire or something, and then like the but it's also before the Empire days, so it's hard to tell. What makes me really curious about this is that the architecture and the civilizations on this planet look identical to Aten. So I feel like it's some type of test subject or test planet, like some weird simulation thing going on. I don't know. That's what I look at, but I really like how these this story is going along.
Yeah. What do you think about it, Dan? I mean, like, are you I don't know, is it a little off-putting seeing that there's like 9 Earths?
No, like I love this episode. I think it's cool. It's cool seeing one of the planets, like, you know, at Atlan's in prestige, like time capsule, like condition, and then this one is one that was like, you know, destroyed either by war or by something else, and then the survivors are fighting over what's left, not really knowing what the planet used to be. So it seems like a lot of time has passed, enough to where the people that are there now don't remember. So it just shows you like something's going on, like a bigger picture that we're not privy to yet. And I think it's intriguing, especially seeing like if all 9 planets are doing the same thing, then like are they redundancies? They're all like doing the great work as they said in the first episode, and the other ones are like just backups, and then or were they all doing one thing together, and whatever that was fell apart as 8 of the 9 planets fell to ruin. So it's curious to see where it goes.
Yeah, definitely.
This is a better mystery than the Acolyte presented to us.
Oh yeah,
absolutely,
100%. Also, Matt will be back. We have lost him to the oncoming
Aten. He went into one of the other planets.
I was gonna say we've lost him to the oncoming interference from the Separatist Alliance.
Star Wars escape pod has just been intercepted by the Separatist Alliance. If you are tuning in right now, don't go anywhere. Leave a review and make it a good one.
Wow, not such a bad influence.
I think that's not a bad influence at all. Maybe George Lucas will come by later and say hello to us.
Yeah, exactly. Eh? Okay, what?
You know what? One thing I wanted to bring up quickly. Has anyone like sat and listened to like the end credits music? Because I've only found one track on the Skeleton Crew thing online right now on YouTube or on like the streaming platforms, and it's a good track, but I can't find the end credits music anywhere apart from just a like a YouTube video someone uploaded. I think it's awesome. I think the soundtrack of this show, I couldn't tell you what the soundtrack is for The Acolyte. Like nothing really comes to mind. But I think the soundtrack's pretty cool. It's very adventurous and reminds me of like some of those old like Nintendo DS like Dungeon Explorer games I used to play.
Yeah,
definitely has like like sometimes it kicks in with that pirate like sounding music, and it's a cool soundtrack.
Yeah, it's got a good sound. I do like it a lot. It's unique. You know, it's really good. So you know, in general, I feel like I enjoyed the episode. I just had one thing that keeps nagging at me from the back of my head though, and it's just kind of the general pacing of these episodes. Like I could have just sat there for another 2 hours, you know what I mean? Like, and which obviously it's not going to happen, but like I don't know, I kind of wish there was another 10-15 minutes tacked on the end there just to get some progression. I was really happy that we got to see some more character development with at least one of the kids, with Neil, and like that was neat. I feel like he's just in general a character that could easily kind of be I don't know, not forgotten about, but like, you know, obviously he's like the blue elephant, but like I don't know, just like it doesn't seem like, because he's
pretty hard to forget.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is, I guess he's playing the role of like the friend to what appears to be a main character. So I guess what I'm saying is like I like the fact that he's got some spotlight time, and we don't.
He had his moment to shine.
Yeah, exactly. And we don't always see that, right? With some shows and some characters that feature multiple main protagonist characters, especially in a group of kids where they are the protagonist, is like the group of them, right? I think that's where Stranger Things really succeeded, is they give the time of per episode to really explore each character. And I'm glad that this show has kind of finally taken the time to do that with Neil. So seeing as we're halfway through the show now, it's it's nice, right? So
yeah, I do know what you mean though. Like I felt like with this similar with the first season of The Mandalorian, I feel like an episode like this one, even though like it definitely progressed the story a lot more when it came to figuring out what Adam is, I still feel like it would have been more suited if the season was like 21 episodes long. Like is that just me? I feel like we're only getting like 8 episodes and we have like a small, like almost kind of a side quest. You get a little bit of development, but it definitely could be paced a little bit differently. Is at least how I kind of feel about it, but maybe that's just me.
Yeah,
I'm just wondering if at some point, I like Wim. Like, I'm struggling really hard not to hate the poor kid.
Yeah,
because he just keeps messing everything up, and it's like,
is this the main kid? The other guy? Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, the one that's like pushing all the buttons and firing all the weapons, and just like he's kind of a troublemaker. And I mean, they named him accurately. He's doing everything on a whim, but
on a whim.
Like,
hey, there's Matt again. He's back.
Sorry about that.
No problem. We lost you to some separatist interference here, but question for you though, Matt. What we're talking about Neil and how he's like the focus of the episode in a way which is kind of refreshing to see. And what's your feelings on Wim? Because Dan was just saying like it's hard to sort of I guess appreciate a character that's part of his character is kind of to be annoying and to be a troublemaker. So like what are your thoughts on a character like Wim?
Which one is Wim? Is he the curly hair?
Yeah.
yes.
Our main kind of our main protagonist, right? I'm I guess like relating to him. I don't know. Yeah, good question. And I didn't hear what you guys were talking about either. So I'm still not too sure how I feel about him, because he should be more like a Mikey kind of character if it was in like kind of a Goonies setting. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not too sure about him yet, 100%. How about you?
Yeah, I think I'm with Dan as well. Like it's definitely hard to find like a good likable trait about the guy. Like it's but then again, like I don't know, it's kind of part of his character, right? But he could have a redeeming quality later in the show. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But in general, I think it is always tough to find likable traits in characters like that. I watched this movie more recently. Maybe one of you guys may have seen it. It's a childhood favorite of my wife's, and it's called Dennis the Menace, and it is awful, dude. Like the movie is terrible, but the kid is just so annoying. And I think like when you watch a movie like that, it's all for fun. But like when you watch a movie like that, it's really hard to watch a film, and if you don't have the nostalgic backing to it, then it's hard to kind of keep watching it without having anything in common or anything to like about the main character of the movie. And I think so far in Skeleton Crew, it's just been a little tough on Wim with having to be that lamb to the slaughter, when it comes to like, okay, we need a troublemaker kid. We need somebody to like, kind of be the, the foolish one, the fool of the group.
He just hasn't done anything good. He's just been a menace. He's been a menace the whole time.
Yeah. His head's in
I'd
the
like
cloud,
to see, I'd like to see some like small, things that he's done a bit better, like he done a couple of good things, but like he even like he grabbed the gun in this episode and just like blasted it and then flew 20 feet back. I was just like, what's this kid doing? Has he not realized? Like,
yeah,
he's the Jar Jar of the show.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, he hasn't given much powers yet to a senator that is mildly influential to the galaxy, so I guess he's not as bad as Jar Jar just yet.
I think, yeah.
I did love that Neil got his time, though. Like, it was cool seeing Neil come up from just being the sidekick to having a bigger role.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that's what they're going to do. Yeah, it's probably he's going to have a character arc for sure, and hopefully grow by the end of it. Have a redeeming quality, like you're saying, Josh, for sure.
Yeah, I hope so.
If he doesn't, then that'll be disappointing.
Right. What are the general thoughts?
But hopefully,
fingers crossed, right? Like, fingers crossed. I mean, also like for the actor too, because obviously it's got to be like, there's probably some hope that there is going to be a likable trait about his character eventually, for him to showcase later. But But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's tough, right? What's the general thoughts here about at Akron being, part of this larger plan, part of the jewels of the Republic, whatever that's supposed to eventually mean, looking almost the same. It looks like all these planets were part of some sort of Republic, very proto-Republic era project to sort of potentially, expand and colonate different worlds during a time which is really, really slow to move outwards. And like what you were saying, Matt, like about the High Republic, like this is probably, it's looking to me like it's more and more apparent that it's like maybe even 1,000 years before the High Republic era, like, long time ago, sort of between the dawn of the Jedi era and the like the end of that phase where it's like we're just hitting the beginnings of the Old Republic, like the Old Republic itself. And that's assuming that we're rolling with the knowledge of what we know now from the High Republic. The Republic, even during the High Republic era, was still like quite small, like nothing quite the size of what the Republic eventually got to 300 years later. But to imagine a Republic 1,000 years prior must have been very, very small indeed. So this may have been maybe the jewels of the Republic. Just my own theory being that those are the planets that maybe they had, potentially ideas to expand from there. Maybe that's part of the great works that each of these planets maybe had a project that the whole planet was kind of contributing to, and it would have been part of this more like grand plan of the Republic at that point in time. And then maybe some catastrophic thing happened in the galaxy, maybe with the return of the Sith or whatever, which maybe had the Republic cloak all of these key worlds that they had great things planned for. And then, it was devastating enough of a blow that they were found, and a lot of them were destroyed except for the one, which maybe for some reason ended up being forgotten about, or maybe they couldn't find it again for whatever reason. There's definitely a lot of area there for some story, which I'm looking forward to hearing. But yeah, what
you think it's before Jedi? You think it's before even Jedi, or do you think Jedi kind of are helping, or do you think that supervisor tower kind of resembles that Jedi tower that they were in Coruscant in like Episode 1?
Yeah, like I think the Jedi are around. I definitely think with the Republic kind of comes after this era where the Jedi emerge. But yeah, I think it's definitely in a time in which the Jedi were still quite new, right? And I think maybe more and more we'll kind of see that. But assuming that is the case, like the storybook that Wim reads from in the movie, like at the beginning of from the show, like at the beginning of the episodes, it's depicting Jedi. So Atten is aware that the Jedi are a thing, and even though there isn't any on their planet, like the legends have kind of made their way to this world, which has, assuming that no one's come and gone for like 1,000 years from this planet, like they were definitely around in the galaxy doing their thing for the Republic at that time before Atten was like forgotten about. So that's kind of like the way that I'm perceiving things to be at the moment. But I just wanted to hear any other theories people may have had, if you guys can think of any, how you're deciphering this.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good theory there. I feel like, well, I mean, rather than going, I did mention something just a bit ago about it could be some like test civilization or something, but I doubt that. Do you think more or less like we'll get answers by the end of this season, or do you reckon they'll probably wait for a Skeleton Crew 2 for us to find these answers out? Because I'm going to find it interesting. Like once these kids get returned home, like what kind of adventure they're going to go on after that. Mm-hmm. I don't think their parents or the authority, not the authority. What's the droids that run the show, but why they'd let them out again. So I'm going to find it interesting.
Yeah, it may be the kind of thing that once this whole story is resolved, maybe the planet will kind of de-shield itself, and they'll, I guess based on what the kids kind of share, whoever this supervisor is, then maybe there might be some decisions being made about like, oh, like this is what happened at Akron, like how long has it been, like what's going on, like there might be something going on there. Or maybe there's something a bit more sinister, right? Like maybe it's like a world secret that all of the whatever they're called, the supervisors kind of pass on, like a black book from one supervisor to the next as they kind of trade out jobs, and they explain, maybe they're the ones who know like what's going on. It's like, hey, just so you know, to keep people from freaking out, to keep things going, to keep things flowing, like we just need to maintain this idea that things are still the same, and that, you know, this devastating attack on the other 8 jewels of the Republic are you know, was a piece of history that, you know, we can just kind of move on from, because obviously we're safe now, but it's nothing that we need to concern the people about. Like, as long as they don't know about it, they're happy. And, you know, if you look at the first episode, like, culture is just sort of bumbling along. Like, it's like a very positive environment. Like, obviously no war has hit their world. You know, everyone seems like they're just chilling, right? Like, and it's almost eerily strange for anyone to see that in this post-Empire period of time. So it might be definitely worth thinking about it from that angle, going like, okay, maybe something, like, we haven't seen the supervisor yet, so maybe there's something weird about that we should maybe start considering as part of this plot. And
isn't it also strange that like this other city is exactly like identical? It looks like almost like a failed state.
Yeah, exactly, right. And you know, well, actually, you know, a side thing from that is like, even though it looks identical, there's EOPs on this world, which, I mean, we're only familiar with EOPs from the Phantom Menace on Naboo, so I thought it was kind of cool.
Right.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think there was a character that said, you know, any outsiders, like, we only trade like with the outsiders. Like, there was, am I going crazy here, or was there one of the, like, the general guy or something, like General Strix or whatever his name was, like, said something about trading. And so it gave me the idea that, okay, maybe other worlds are aware of this planet, or maybe some people in some worlds are, and it's not really like, maybe it's one of those places that just nobody goes to because it's like, oh, it's just like a, you know, like who knows what that planet's called. It's just kind of like this rock dust ball that people are constantly fighting with, and, you know, no one's got a ship to get off, and, you know, you don't want to go down there because it's like entering Mad Max world or whatever, you know, like something like that. So, you know.
Oh yeah, and what was that other army that was there that they're fighting?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like the whole world is just kind of, they're just fighting each other, right? Like it's just constant. Like they're just, you know, it's just like it never ends, right? And I think in that way, Ad Akron is kind of a mirror, like it's a parallel to Ad Atten, where the people are peaceful and just kind of ever happy, whereas like on Ad Akron, like they're just kind of war torn and always ever not happy, and like these children are being like raised as like, you know, like children soldiers and stuff like that. And it's like kind of weird, but like at the same time, I guess, you know, all I could think of was like Jojo Rabbit. Have you guys seen Jojo Rabbit?
Yeah, great movie.
Yeah, like you know, like to think like, oh, like that was a thing. Like, you know, like kids were brought up in this time and you know, taken into programs like that and at that age, and it's kind of mind blowing. And yeah, I mean, like I could see it being a thing. Obviously, the lightheartedness of this show kind of can sort of take away from that a little bit, but yeah, I mean, if you look at it through that lens, it's like there's some dark stuff going on down there. So, you know, be cool to get
I don't even think they know what they're fighting for anymore. They just know that they don't like the other group, but they don't know why, maybe.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, they got something we don't, so we got to take it from them.
Yeah.
Which is what I really like that. Like you saw Neil kind of show the girl, the daughter, like, hey, there's another way. And you feel like she's going to be a better leader when she takes over from her father. She's like, oh, maybe we don't need to just fight and kill. Mm-hmm. Maybe there's another path.
Yeah. What was that, Matt?
That's cool. Also, the other army, the people wearing red, there was like one of those droid like tanks that they were in that we saw again on Naboo. But it's funny that you mentioned Naboo, because I could have sworn I saw one of those guys had like a Naboo like royal guard. Like, remember part of Amidala's army, they had, it was like the pilot guy. I could have sworn I saw like that same exact, like his outfit, like his uniform.
Yeah, maybe like, you know, it'd be
it's a reuse, you know, it's a reuse.
Yeah.
It's just reusing stuff.
Right. I mean, like there's definitely a lot of worlds and stuff. Like there's like a, you know, like how Kim was saying, like there's like 1,000+ worlds out there, maybe even like 10,000, right? And I guess in the behind the scenes way to look at it is like they just never want to run into a limitation for someone making a story in the galaxy far, far away, where they're like, oh, we don't have a world that's like this or an environment that's like this. So, you know, in order to expand it even further, it's just kind of this endless, you know, no limitation to how many planets exist in this galaxy sort of thing. Yeah, on the other hand, like when you see little things like that, I just think like, oh, well, maybe maybe someone had a, like chest of old junk on their ship. They were, passing through the area, and they're like, oh, maybe they could just stop down for fuel and trade this crap away for like, some provisions so they can keep on their journey. And, the people down there are just happy to get some stuff. And, like, I don't know, like, it's just like, you gotta wonder, right? And there is something kind of interesting about it. But
the other thing I was thinking about too is when they left the planet, they said it was illegal to leave at Aten, right? It was illegal.
Yeah.
So when these kids finally make their way back, what's that going to look like, right? Is it illegal to come in too? It must be, right? And are they going to find conflict there or get shot down or something?
Right. Yeah. Well, maybe that big cannon on the school, like, it's kind of weird that it's on the school, but like maybe that's like on Aten too. Like maybe their school is gonna.
That was a serious cannon too.
Yeah, it's a serious weapon. Like that's like a planetary defense kind of thing. Yeah, pretty nuts.
Unless all planets are kind of like connected together and they act as one defense system type of situation, but I don't know. It's all a bit foreign to me.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool. Did you guys have anything else to bring up? Because otherwise we can maybe give this Pablo points of poodoos, and then I got one more thing to bring up. I hear no obligations. All right, so let's do some Pablo points of poodoos. All right, so Pablo points of poodoos is our rating system on the podcast for fun, and 3 Pablo poodoos is the worst of the worst of the worst. 2 Pablo poodoos is also very terrible. 1 Pablo poodoo is bad. A bendu is a medium, so that's like a 50%. 1 Pablo point is good. 2 Pablo points is great, and 3 Pablo points is the best of the best of the best. So, Kirk, let's start with you, man. What would you give episode 4?
Well, realistically, I would give episode 4 a 1 Pablo point, but because Neil got a kiss and then the girl ran away and did a front flip, it gets 3 Pablo points because it was totally unnecessary, but it was totally awesome.
Did you say 3?
That was a weird.
Well, 1 realistically, but it gets 2 extra Pablo points because of that. 1 for the kiss and 1 for the completely unnecessary.
Flip was weird.
Wait, you're legit getting this 3? Or what?
No. You know what? Actually, let's put it this way: the kiss gives it an extra bonus point, and then the front flip deducts the bonus point, so it gets 1 Pablo point.
Okay, all right. And just so I know, because you missed last week, what'd you give last week's episode?
I think I gave last week's episode 3. I gave 1.5. That was my one.
Okay, Matt, what'd you give this one?
Hey, I like the kiss in the front flip too. It was funny, weirdly enough. I give this one a 2.
Wow. Okay. All right.
I was kind of entertained. It kind of took me through it. It got me thinking about stuff. I'm like, okay, I thought it was a fun episode.
Yeah. All right. Dan, what'd you give it?
So I really enjoyed this episode. It gave me the vibes of like this 80s movie called Time Bandits, Terry Gilliam. Like,
oh yeah,
it had that like with the war and stuff, and it had heart. Like I liked the relationship with Neil, and so I give it a 2.3. I really enjoyed it, and it's directed by the Daniels, who also did Everything Everywhere All at Once, which I really enjoyed, and it kind of had similar like vibe to it. So,
did they? I didn't realize I did this one.
Oh, yep. Crazy. Awesome. All right. Well, okay, we'll round that up to 2.5 because I don't have 2.3 on the Victor scale here.
Okay,
but,
sounds good. That was my original score. So
yeah, awesome. All right, sweet. I gave this a 1. I enjoyed it. But yeah, I think the little nagging at the back of my head wanted to kind of have a little bit more in this episode. Just kept pulling at me a little bit. So yeah, our average is 2 Pablo points for this episode. That's the highest yet, believe it or not. So until we get more scores in, but that's the highest yet so far. Okay, so cool. Looking forward to next one. I mean, we're halfway through, so I guess we'll see what happens here. But I did want to bring up one more thing, which is semi-related to, the chat today, because of course, having a show like this targeted at younger audiences, you got to think the people making this show, right? Like they grew up with certain Star Wars content and have experience being a kid as a Star Wars fan. And I was recently I got the Ahsoka Season 1 and Mandalorian Season 3 on Steelbook. And I think I sent you photos of those, Matt, on our chat.
Yeah, they're awesome, yeah.
Yeah, pretty sick stuff. So today we finished rewatching the show on the discs and going through the bonus features and stuff like that this evening. One thing that stuck out to me was something in one of the commentary tracks. We were able to get through one of the commentaries on the episodes, and Dave was just talking about, I think he did 2 commentaries. There's one on episode 5 and one on a different episode, maybe the finale or something like that. But it was
Ahsoka?
Yeah, for Ahsoka. Yeah. So I was listening to this commentary, and there's just something that stuck out to me at the end about kind of the joy, I guess, that he experiences, making these stories for younger kids. And with Skeleton Crew being targeted at that audience directly, I just thought it just brought a smile to my face. I just wanted you guys to hear it. So here's the clip.
Sense of wonder and amazement that there's joy for Ahsoka in this moment of seeing these amazing creatures. That things aren't just all explosions and laser blasts. And as a kid, Star Wars filled me with a great sense of wonder and adventure. And seeing Jason on this adventure reminds me of those days my brother and I would be playing Star Wars, and that's what I want to pass on to, families, kids coming into Star Wars now, is this incredible galaxy that George Lucas invented that has limitless possibilities and invention and imagination. Yeah. Rosario's so great for these moments. She and I talked a bit about how when she's this, we'll call it Ahsoka the White, that there's a bit more of a twinkle in her eye, that there's a little bit more smile, a little bit more fun than the gray, conflicted version we'd been seeing. We wanted to kind of brighten her, to kind of remind us of those qualities in Clone Wars that I think people really enjoyed. It is the snip and snips, it's the fun and a bit of the ability to joke and go back and forth. And to me, it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I love the giant space whales and these moments. I'm just trying to capture some stuff that I felt about Star Wars, about these type of adventures that I grew up with, whether it was, something like Star Wars or Time Bandits or Dragon Slayer or whatever it was.
How much time do you need? I don't know, just don't let them approach.
It's a great feeling and a spectacle of something I'd never imagined or wanted to believe was real. These Vesper class ships are a take on a kind of abandoned concept drawing for the Rebel fleet in Return of the Jedi that Chang and I revitalized a bit into this incarnation.
All right, well, there you go. There's a reference to Time Bandits in there as well, which who was it that brought that up? Was it Dan and Matt brought up Time Bandits? Or yeah. So yeah, it was kind of cool, and definitely recommend checking out the commentaries for all those who are snagging up physical media for Ahsoka. All the bonus features on there. I do wish that they put this stuff out there on Disney Plus for more people to experience, but I guess that's maybe they're still leaving that as a draw to buy the disc, but yeah, it's good stuff. So yeah, thank you guys for coming on as usual. It's good. Is there anything you want to last minute things you want to bring up?
What bugged you the most about it? What was gnawing at the back of your head about this episode?
Oh, this one. I think just the pacing of the show. I really love binging the Star Wars shows. I find just because each episode feels shorter than it should be. But when you're going week to week, it almost feels like it's a semi-incomplete story. Like in the 40 minutes that you're watching it, it's like, okay, it was a window into what happened, but not necessarily a beginning, a middle, and an end. I don't know. I feel like this week was definitely a clear example of like, okay, well, something happened like right at the end there, and then it just kind of dropped off. And you know, I'm way beyond that level. Like storytelling like that. Just that's like the old 24 episode a season, 60-minute serialized like TV shows that you used to watch on the CW and stuff like that. And I don't know. I just don't know if that's really for me. As far as like a quality like 8-episode season show goes. Like earlier this year, having watched The Penguin, great pacing of story in that show. I thought that was an amazing series. Like every episode was kind of complete in a sense. Like you always had this sense of completion after watching an episode. And I don't know. I just kind of feel like most of the Star Wars shows have been missing that a little bit because they're trying to tell a broader story in general across the season, and each episode kind of leaves you hanging a little bit sometimes. So I think that was the one thing that I was like, just biting at a little bit. But
tiny structurally thing.
Say again.
The one small tiny that is also quite structural to the story thing. But I get what you mean.
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, yeah. What's your feelings on it though, Matt? Like do you get a sense of completion like each week, like having watched an episode, or do you still like? I don't know. Does it bother you at all?
I mean, I get what you're saying because it reminds me of like when I'm reading a comic book out of a series. You can either like buy the graphic novel where it's all complete and you have all 6 like issues in it. And then this is kind of like you're getting a little piece at a time, which I know. But then also I know I'm going to go back and kind of binge it and watch it all the way through together as a complete piece too. So I'm with you on that 100%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But as far as just having fun, sitting down with my kids and watching like a little 40-minute little.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
One-off Star Wars thing. It's fun.
Yeah,
it's fun.
It is fun. I do like the low stakes of this show. Like it's new, right? It's new and refreshing to see. So, yeah. Kirk, real quick before we log off, you launched a new video on your YouTube channel. You want to talk about it real quick?
I'll do a very quick plug, but if you want to watch a small little documentary I've put together for a local 123-year-old menswear store, has nothing to do with Star Wars at all, but you can go and check it out on my YouTube channel. Designed by Kirk, but it has nothing to do with Star Wars, so you can squint and imagine, but that's as far as you'll get.
Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff, man. You got some serious talent. All right, well, thanks so much, and Kirk, you got an amazing outro for us this week. I just know it. You had all this time in the car on the way home, so let's hear it, man.
Oh, of course. Well, it's hot here down under, and after this podcast, you can find me sipping on a sweet strawberry shake at Supreme Snow Cones on Scarif, alongside my skeleton crew, Sabine Wren, and my pod racing superstar, Sebulba.
Nice. Awesome. All right.
No sausages this time, I'm sorry, but, that's what we're doing.
Excellent. All righty. Well, that being said, may the force be with you guys. We'll catch you in the next one. All right. Thank you so much to our audience for tuning in. As usual, we'll be doing this, I guess, for, the rest of Skeleton Crew, with this being the last episode before Christmas. So wishing you all a very Merry Christmas, and we will see you in the coming weeks.